It's live.
All right. Facebook Live. Come on. Come on through for True Love Movement Tuesdays. True Love Movement Tuesdays with Brother Shaq and Mama Fire. And
Right, look like
y'all see, we have a joiner.
You got
Iyame. Iyame's hanging out with us tonight until her mama gets back. We are Iyame sitting. She really is a sweet, sweet, sweet girl. She loves her mama's breast milk. That's
sure.
one thing we know. Greetings.
It's the Instagram feed.
Instagram.
Natasha Wilson on the.
What's happening, Queen? Beautiful Queen.
Look like I see Rachel Graham in there too.
Outrage. Is it outrage?
Yeah.
Or that's
That's her?
Outrage. That's Rachel Guidry.
Rachel Guidry.
Yeah.
Let's see folks come on in.
Come on through. Come on through Facebook. Come on through Instagram. I can't really wave at anybody right now.
Yeah, but they respect it. I'm just trying to figure out. See what's up with all.
We're going to have our True Love Movement Tuesdays as we do every Tuesday. I'm going to have to wave the natural way. How y'all doing? Iyame going to town on her little bitty bottle right now. This is Iyame, everybody. She's sleeping. Not really. She's drinking milk and resting her eyes. Brother Shaq is coming right now. Tonight's show is about what we deserve.
Yeah, definitely.
Brother Shaq will be leading this discussion tonight. I'm here for it. Love and light. Yeah, that's my new saying. I'm here for it. You know, I be late. I be late with my little sayings.
You right on time.
Right. Late bloomer though.
Right.
Late bloomer. You ready for a burp?
Burp that baby, Mama Fire.
Yes.
You know a thing or two about
Greetings.
babies.
Oh, I love babies. Babies always have divine energy. The world ain't got on them yet.
Right.
So when you, the feeling that you feel when you hold a baby, we should all be trying to hold and love on and protect and honor babies.
Definitely, Mama.
They have the best energy. Something very healing about holding and taking care of little ones. I mean, little bitty ones like Iyame.
Waiting on a few more folks to come on in. What's going on Instagram?
You know, Instagram cut off fast.
Yeah, Instagram, you got 1 hour, and that's it.
So we actually...
But for Instagram folks, you can jump right over to the True Love Movement page on Facebook, and we'll go all the way to the end with you.
It's www.facebook.com/True Love Movement _100 or something like that.
/100, yeah. But just like the True Love Movement page if you don't already. We figure you already do. Let me see. You know, this one here a little bit janky.
Maybe we should switch them.
No. We in business. Just take a little messing around, you know.
Thank you for your patience.
Right.
Everybody.
Definitely thank you for your patience.
Busy day for everyone. Everybody's closing up 2018.
Closing it out strong too.
Oh yeah.
What's going on, IG? We see y'all. We can't touch the little wave, but we see you. Thank you. We got a lot of folks in there, Mama Fire. All right. So
I think we ready.
So greetings, family. Welcome to True Love Movement Tuesdays. Brother Shaq.
And Mama Fire.
And
Iyame.
And Iyame. We got Iyame's first broadcast. This is her debut, looks like. We know there's a lot of things happening, family, particularly at 9 o'clock in the evening. And I hope the volume is okay too. We got a little bit of background noise that we don't normally have, so I'm gonna do my part and my best to try to speak up, be heard. But what's happening, Mama Fire? It's a good day today.
Yes.
Very good day today, family.
Good day, and I'm proud of all the work that was done today.
Definitely.
To support myself and to support my little sisters.
Definitely.
Right?
Got it in.
Got it in.
And shout out to True Love Movement, family. Just so you know, True Love Movement doesn't only facilitate, of course, our own curriculums. We write them, create them, develop them.
Yes.
And we sell them.
Yes, we do.
So True Love Movement put another curriculum out there today, and if you're interested in something like that, because maybe it isn't as cost effective for you to have someone come facilitate something for you. And if you feel somewhat confident in your ability to facilitate a group or whatever the case is, get at us, because we can collaborate with you and help you develop a curriculum it'll be ours, but it'll be yours too, that you can use. And I'm so proud of you, Mama Fire, for your brilliance in envisioning and foresight, and how as you always talk about it, the message echoing out, and how it it really is getting out there. So I wanted to lift you up and shout out to you.
Yeah.
So proud. Give me some of that purple lipstick there. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to you, Brother Shaq, because we make a dynamic team together,
Definitely.
I'm thankful for your acumen, your beautiful, beautiful business acumen, and, your documenting prowess.
Yes. That was a good show, huh?
Yeah, that was a really good show.
Yeah.
I kind of like True Love Movement on Saturdays, too. I kind of like that hour show, that 1 hour.
Right.
Show.
Yeah, 1 hour. 1 hour and slightly censored. Family, if you're just joining us, or if you've not joined the True Love Movement Tuesdays isn't the True Love Movement hour. It's different. It's not just that it's longer, it's different. On True Love Movement Tuesdays, we say it how we feel it. We say it in a way you can relate to it, but we're not limited or constrained by whatever the FCC says. We can say the shit how we feel it needs to be said. So shout out to our Facebook Live family. We got Outrage. We got Natasha Wilson.
Greetings.
She's talking about Iyame and many other folks. This as far as we can see right now. And tell your friends. Share this with your friends. We're going to have a good time tonight like we always do. Mama Fire just mentioned the documenting show that we had on Saturday. Very powerful show. If you missed that live, you can check it out on the YouTube channel. Right now, as we're closing out the end of the year, and Iyame doesn't seem to have any resistance about that at all. Mama Fire has inspired all of us, and I want to shout you out for that too, Mama Fire. You really inspire a whole lot of folk. I don't know, you don't always get your credit, and you're not necessarily looking for the credit, but I can see your hand or hear or feel your presence in other folk. And that always makes me smile, because I know where they get that from. I know where it comes from, because I've heard it. I've been fortunate enough to be sitting there when it was evolving or coming into fruition. So,
well, that's love.
Yeah.
Love teaches in such an organic way
Uh-huh.
that people don't even realize that they've internalized or absorbed something
Right.
to the point they say it like without even recognition of where they got it from.
Right.
That's love,
That is love.
you know? And I got it from somewhere.
Right.
I was inspired and got it from somewhere, and I can't even recognize where I got it from. That's love.
That's real love. Yeah.
Because you absorb it and it resonates.
Mm-hmm.
And then you figure it out in your head and you're able to really not regurgitate it. We can tell when something's being regurgitated.
Right. Right.
But when it's internalized and actually comes out as the person's own divine thoughts, it's a beautiful thing.
It is, Mama Fine.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to you for just inspiring and putting it out there in the atmosphere, as so many of our people are, and they express that too, you know, on occasion. And so when we see them out in the street, so I wanted to thank you for that. One of the things you've been talking about lately too, and we mentioned it a little bit on the show, on the True Love Movement Hour, the documenting the show, is about finding yourself out.
Yes.
And you know, I don't know, family, if y'all been checking that out, or you know, you social media folk that's been looking at, you know, Mama Fire talking about finding yourself out. While she's rubbing the baby,
Mm-hmm.
she, you know, she's expressed to me in the moment. She says, you know, I find something new out about myself every day, and it's so exciting. And I remember her telling me that, and I was a little bit like, well, that's cool. But what about me? You know, am I even paying attention to myself like that? Because that's what it did. It gave me some pause. But if y'all remember the other day, I said I was played out. I was played out, man. My spirit told me that. And really what that was just my spirit saying that, you know, brother, it's cool for you to find yourself out. Like, you know, as we grow and we get old and we think we know some shit, we be holding on to that shit like that's the only shit ever. And because it feels good. I mean, I don't know, y'all folks that were watching and what have you, you know what it feels like to not know some shit. You know, and finally get your mind around a couple of things. You want to hold on to that shit. That's some good shit. Like it's the only shit there ever was. But, you know, if we do that, and I can tell New Orleans people for sure, those of you who are watching from New Orleans know we pride ourselves on never changing. Not changing at all. You know, ain't nothing changed with me, nigga, right? That's how we talk. That's how we do it. Man, I've been like this since the 70s, man. And you know, that's a flaw. Think about how much we miss with that. And so you inspiring me to find my own self out, Mama Fire, has really been liberating, and it has been exciting, and it's also been fun. Another thing I wanted to say too, I don't know how many grown black people are walking around talking about they're having fun, especially those serious ass people. You know, we got some real serious Negroes who never smile and never laugh. And the kicker is, Mama Fire, you know, I've been accused of being such.
You are totally not. If people know you, this man has me cracking up all day, every day. He is very funny.
Look, my youngest daughter, yesterday, after boxing, gave me the highest compliment that I've ever gotten from her. And she said, you know, she's 15. She's about halfway to 16. Wonderful young sister. Really hard-hitting boxer and martial artist, and you know, just all around great student. But she said, you know, Daddy, she was cracking up after something we did. She said, you know, Daddy, I always knew you was stupid, but I didn't know you was stupid like this. She said, I didn't know you was this stupid.
I can hear her saying something like that.
She was cracking up because we was cracking up, having a really good time. And I'm gonna, like I said, that may offend some of you, but for me, that was a high compliment, man. Because here my daughter is, and you know, our relationship is always evolving because we're always working on it.
I'm gonna put her down.
But for her to say that, because I had a crying laughing just about, you know, everything we were doing. And as Mama Fire is saying, many people who may have not experienced that, they don't know me to be, you know, funny or humorous or ribbing or teasing or any of that kind of stuff, because we've been socialized that, you know, a black man can only be one kind of way. So if the brother is serious and he's academic or he's an intellectual, then he's that and he's stiff. Or if he's funny, he's just a clown, he's a joke, He's a comedian, never to be taken seriously. And so, you know, black men kind of walk a tightrope with that, and some brothers do choose to be the clown or the comedian, you know, and to get some laughs, and then other brothers are just stoic and serious and what have you. So yeah, for y'all who are watching, those who really know me, know I laugh and bullshit and
you
cut up all the time.
And let me say this, you know, people get confused with being sober.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right?
With somebody that doesn't want to have fun,
right?
And the thing about it is, both of us have done our partying, like we've done it to death,
right?
To the point where we don't need it anymore.
That's
you
right.
know, and it doesn't mean we lame.
Nope. We have a good time. It
means that we choosing a new lifestyle. We're choosing something different.
Right.
So, you know, to each his own.
To each his own.
But Brother Shaq is definitely a very fun guy.
Yeah, you're right, Mama Fire. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And so with that, shout out to Brother Nadir. What's going on, man? That's a brother I have a lot of respect for and a lot of love for. And he doesn't always, he doesn't always tune in. But we called him on the True Love Movement Hour. I guess it was good enough to him for him to come back another time. And he's a busy brother. He got buku children and a dynamic wife that he spent a lot of quality time with. So some kind of way he got a break and he's passing through. So shout out to that brother Nadir. We also talked about him too, Mama Fine, maybe linking up with him a way to talk about, Biblehood and how he's done it so successfully for all of us who are interested. So brother, just kind of put that in your mind. I know you got a break coming up soon and we could talk about that, but we would love, and I think our people really need to experience that as well.
Yeah, just Baba's perspective on how to make it work, how to make black love work. And definitely, maybe we can get him and his wife together. His wife is dynamic and so gorgeously beautiful. Ooh. And fire.
Literally.
To get them both together just to discuss it, even on a True Love Movement Tuesday.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. So on this True Love Movement Tuesday, Mama Fire, kind of like on the Find Yourself Out tip.
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot, and we've been talking about a little off-air family, about this idea of what I deserve or what we deserve, and really rooted in the this fictitious meritocracy that is the American way. And meritocracy, for those who are not familiar, it simply just says that it's the idea that when you get something or whatever you get it because you earned it. And we know for black folks in America that is complete and utter bullshit. Because if it was about, hard work, there would be no one more wealthy than the black woman. Because nobody's worked harder than the black woman in the history of America. Nobody. And I don't think, if you know anything about history, there can't be a lot of disagreement about that. You can't find a group of people who've worked harder than the black woman, but we know black people as a whole.
Yeah.
And so, as hard as we work as black folks, and we have worked, and under the conditions we've worked under, there's still a lot of shit we don't have. A lot of just regular. How many of y'all watching right now don't have a problem that money couldn't fix? How many of you watching don't have a problem that money couldn't fix? I'm not going to say everything, it'll just change your whole life completely. But, if you can have all your basic needs met, have some savings, have some other residual money coming in, if you didn't have to stress, if you didn't have to get up every day to try to go make some money to pay somebody every single day, what kind of quality of life could you have, right? So in America, it tells us that if we don't have a lot of means, it's because we don't deserve it, because we don't work hard enough. We haven't earned them. That's that whole meritocracy thing. And that the people who do have a lot of means and resources and influence and those kind of things, well, they have those things because they earned them. Now, how many of y'all feel like that's some bullshit?
You're saying that how many people have problems that money could fix? I think money is the problem.
Well, definitely. I think on the larger scale, money is the problem. But in the meantime, before money is abolished, people need lights, people need food, people need resources, people need access to things. And yes, most of the people who are quote unquote woke or conscious or revolutionary people are also anti-capitalist people, or people who may prefer socialism or communism or some other form of a system of governance and economy. But listen, in the meantime, like for example, let's be real. Somebody's got to fund those revolutions. Somebody's got to fund all these actions and these activist things and all that. Somebody has to pay for some of those things. You know what I mean? There's a lot of folk who are in the corporate world and who are straight-laced or in the box, who go to work and they earn money inside that system, and they give it away and help fund a lot of the quote-unquote radical causes that happen, that if it were not for them doing that, a lot of these groups and actions wouldn't even be able to take place. And that's a fact. Like there's so many people that are working inside of the system to try to help people outside of the system dismantle the system. But the way capitalism is set up, it co-ops everybody, so that you can say you don't like it, you can say you're against it, but you're sucked into it because you got to pay for your light bill, you got to pay your rent, you got to pay your house notes, you got to pay your insurance, you got to pay for all these things, or you suffer. So it's easy to draw the conclusion that if you're unable to do those things, it's because you ain't worthy, Mama Fide. You know?
Yeah. And then, that makes me think about corruption. And why the whole system, we're talking about the financial system, the banking system, all these different systems that's related to money are corrupt.
Definitely.
Talking about the bank bailouts and even the idea of money, that they can create as much money as they actually need.
As much as they want.
It does not backed by gold, and then we hustling to make $1 out of 15 cents. It's all wrong. It's all corrupt. And I understand, yes, we need, and I really do understand too that money is just the energy exchange, especially because now cash isn't being used either. Right. I'm talking about money itself. Talking about credit, debit, these kind of things. And so it's really like a mind thing,
totally.
That it's just an energy exchange. And you know what? As we build our Black nation, we need to really think about fully how would that energy exchange actually work for us.
Right. That's what I wanted to get to, Mama Five, because if you've been following us or watching anything, we've declared going forward that we're going to really be focused on Afrofuturism. And so that means the historian in me is finding myself out, flipping it, and not so focused on how things have been, but how things will be. Because we're in the process of creating those things now. We do have to still know where we come from.
And we still have to know the context.
We have to have the historical context.
So we need that.
We do need that. But we also need to move forward, because there is a bit of antiquated thinking and, staying stuck in how this shit is so fucked up, and not really dealing with, actively, what are you creating that differently? Like, what are you really creating? Or how much commentating are we doing on how bad it is, and then what are we creating that's new? And how are we informed about what needs to happen? Is the thing. And so as the Afrofuturist here amongst us, I would like to hear your thoughts and share those thoughts with our people on that energy exchange that you're talking about, and how that impacts the way we internalize who we are and how we are in this whole thing, this whole mess. Because it's real easy to feel like you ain't shit when you ain't got shit. I mean, it's when people talk about, like, that young man, J. Cole, with his video when he was talking about, he finally got enough money to realize money wasn't everything. Not all of our people are able to have that experience, you know. But it's real. Like there comes a point when you can get so much shit, then you can be like, man, this ain't it. But you also have to have that experience. Now, for somebody who ain't got nothing and they homeless or they got no lights or they living out their car, and you telling them money ain't shit, they don't understand that don't compute.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they'll say what I said earlier, like, what's the problem I got money can't fix, you know? So what would you offer us?
Well, I'm gonna switch it back to the historical context, and what you say all the time when we talk about money is that there was a time when we were the currency, when we were the money, as far as quote unquote slavery is concerned, you know, or the slave trade. We were the capital, we were the commodity, or whatever you want to call it, and because of that, we have a real fucked up relationship with money.
Definitely.
And I think about debt. Whew, man, it's like
serious enslavement.
Jail time, you know?
Right.
And on one hand, we got to think about it that way, and on the other hand, we have to think completely outside of what we've always known, and that's hard to do.
Right.
You know, meritocracy kind of sounds like a meritocracy. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like, I was telling that to somebody today, you know, about drinking the quote-unquote Kool-Aid, that we're all Americanized, whether we like it or not.
Right.
We were born and raised into the program of America.
Yep.
You know, even though we can see some things like, really? Psh, America, the home of the free, the land of the free, and the home of the brave.
Right.
Blah, you know, we can know things, but we still at our core hustling to get money.
Yep. All day, every day.
Hustling to get money. I'm sick of it. And what I've decided in my own futurism, and so Afrofuturism is beautiful, and it's kind of like a buzzword too, and I love that Africa is the center of that, but I think I'm a futurist.
Right.
I think I don't have to put Afro on there, because there was a time in historical context where that wasn't even the name of that land.
That's right.
So I'm thinking bigger. I'm thinking breaking all the boundaries and saying futurist, period. Where are we going? Where where we come from, where we going? And Africa is definitely a place that I'm considering going.
Definitely.
But I'm thinking when we talk futurism, talking about it as a whole, of even just universal. You know, and that we have to consider what's next, and not considering what's next like, oh, this is gonna happen in, you know, the year 3000. I'm talking about next year.
Right, which is a couple of weeks.
2019. And listen, we understand about the calendar and all these kind of things. We get that. We get that it's not really the new year and all these things, but we have also been programmed to believe that.
Definitely.
And internalize that. In January, we start a new calendar year.
Right.
So yes, there's a portal. Anything that you decide in your head is it. It is.
There's a portal. Code for the doors of the church are open. That's a code.
Right.
It's a portal. It's code.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I've decided I'm not taking I'm taking pure abundance, and that understanding that the overflow, that the universe around it has abundance in it, that the ethers just have all the abundance there is, and that it's mine. It is mine, and let it flow. Because I'm tired of slaving in my mind. Even though I'm an entrepreneur and those things, I'm tired of like looking at the money and saying, okay, I got enough for this and I got enough for this, but not enough for that, and da. There's always enough.
Right.
There's nothing but abundance in the ether.
That's
so there's always enough. And I'm deciding, as a futurist of me and a futurist of my family and my legacy, that I'm no longer taking this strained relationship of money with me.
That's right.
It can't happen. I'm the creator. I'm the alchemizer. I create abundance. And whether it comes in love, whether it comes in respect and honor, whether it comes in money form, you know, because I'm ready for them to shut everything down. You know what I'm saying? I'm already prepared. We are already prepared for that. So it's time to open up the floodgates of abundance.
That's right. That's a great mental picture, family. I guess, you know, I don't know what our people want. You talked about the history.
Jeez.
You talked about the history. You know, to just think about that for a little bit, family. Like this, because when we talk about meritocracy, something else, another word comes in there, Mama Five, the whole moral thing, the morality. Like, you know, people work hard and then they deserve to have this and they earn that. But we live in a place that is as corrupt as they come. We live in a place that I was doing some research on capitalism, or it was capitalism. I was doing some research on capitalism, and capitalism didn't exist before the 16th century. The 15th century. That was the birth of capitalism, and we know what happened in the 15th century.
Come on, Brother Shaq.
You know, I mean, like, so I want our viewers to kind of make that connection that the enslavement of African people, enforced labor of African people, birthed capitalism. It actually birthed the system that we're in right now. It birthed it. It didn't exist before that. And that particular system has been replicated throughout the world. And, you know, we know energetically as you know, original people and descendants from those people, that we struggle with capitalism. Like you said, we got fucked up relationship with money because something in us understands that, you know, we used to be bought and sold with it, that we were the whole reason for that whole system. I mean, that's some heavy shit, family. That's what I'm saying about how really insidious this whole thing is, because we're co-opted in it. Like, we are co-opted in it. And what capitalism essentially means, and how people know it, Mama Five, whether they can articulate it or not, they know that in capitalism, for somebody to get rich, somebody's got to be poor. There's got to be some exploitation in capitalism. In other words, capitalism, everybody cannot win. That is the way it is designed. That's the whole free market concept, that anybody can get in, but everybody can't win. That there must be losers, there must be losses, and there must be competition. So this is the way we, you know, those of us who are watching who live in America, and even if you don't live in America, you've been influenced by this idea. This is the way we're looking at ourselves, and we're looking at our entire existence and our lives through the lens of what I'm worth. Like, I done heard motherfuckers talk about, nigga, I'm worth so many $100,000. Well, I'm worth this. And they don't make no connection to enslavement on that. It's the financial system, you know. It's my net worth. Like, motherfucker, you don't even understand that. Like, but I'm not judging them. I'm just saying how they've co-opted us into being participants in the shit. So now we want to be good capitalists. And I want to talk about that for just a second, Mama Five.
Yeah, please do.
Because you got like, I know people who take a lot of heat for that, but on the morality side, or like religious institutions and quote unquote black churches and black mega churches. And we've been hearing a lot of people talk about that shit. And yeah, you know, they got all this money, they building this, and they got all these different churches, and they collecting all this money. Man, they ought to do this and that for the hood. They ought to do that. Yeah, I mean, fuck, it's America, so people do whatever the fuck they want to do with their money.
I ain't mad at them churches.
I ain't mad at them either. They be preaching what they call the prosperity doctrine, and so dig that shit. You know, we talking about what you deserve. The idea is, if you're doing, you know, this work, then you deserve to live a certain kind of lifestyle if you're doing this work. Now, that doesn't sound really crazy to me. It doesn't sound crazy to me that if you're doing good work and human work and you're loving people, or you're doing, you know, whatever in terms of you're consistent with your religious doctrine, then you should be rewarded and you should live a certain, I mean, that's the thing. I'm not saying that that's not right. But the kicker is that also means that if you ain't doing that work, then you got to get it how you live. You know?
I mean, how does that equate though? Because they got good people that aren't getting results, monetary results.
Right. Well, see, that's what I'm saying though. That's the point. Like, how come the good folk, the quote unquote good folk, are still lacking in the finances, but they're good people, they're doing good work, but somehow they can't pay their bills. You see what I'm saying? We even socialize to think about it like that. Like that shouldn't be the case.
Yes, I've had to deal with that in my own head. Like that I'm supposed to sacrifice those things and give all to my people, and or else you'll be a poverty pimp.
Right.
You know, you'll be a poverty pimp because you're making money off of our people and these kind of things, and man, that's hard to reconcile with, because it's like you build up your skills to be able to support, and you need support as well to be able to take care of your family and these kind of things. So there's a tension between, it's nothing which, listen, I want a good life, but I'm not interested in living the good life. I am interested in making sure we have enough. What good am I doing if I can't keep myself level and balanced, and I'm stressing behind what my family needs, but I'm giving the families and these kind of things? I mean,
that shit don't make no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It don't make no kind of sense.
What does make sense is for people who know is to build and build enough to be able to share.
Right.
To me, that's what makes sense.
Yeah, and that's a different kind of thinking, Mama Fire. That's more of the futurism thinking, because the present mindset is, I gotta get mine.
I gotta get mine. You
gotta get yours. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not knocking people for that, because what we're saying sounds like such a large idea. And what it also does is it exposes the distance between us and the division between us, that we're not going to be able to support one another. Because, and Mama Fire, I'm gonna wait till you come back. I really want to bring up something that I realize is rooted in that we often don't talk about, because usually we don't have, folks don't have these kinds of conversations publicly. So for those of you who are here and joining us and chiming in and with the comments, we see you and we thank you. But here's the thing. In America,
I just don't want her to wake up good.
In America, it don't matter what's really happening. If you are making any kind of money at all, if you are generating any kind of money, somewhere in there is coming from outside of your community. If you're black, the money isn't manufactured inside of the black community. It's just spent there. You understand that, family? Like, there's always going to be, because there's somebody else outside of our community who controls the resources we need in our community. So at some point in that supply chain, you are going to go outside of the community, because it was designed to foster a codependent relationship. It doesn't mean that black people aren't capable. It just means that it's already been set up to where we are consumers, that we will consume what other people produce and feel good about it if we are able to come up with the money. That's where the meritocracy comes in. So when our people go run away from the hood to go live in quote unquote a good neighborhood where they're white people, that's what that means. When that happens, what do we say? I made it. That's what the fuck we say. I made it. I got a right to be here. I earned it. And then that's how we come to understand the whole fictitiousness or bullshit nature of meritocracy, because even though you may have earned the money and you paid the money, them fucking people don't really want you there. And they make it known in many cases, in subtle ways and sometimes not so subtle ways. And then that's a real problem, because you feel like, but I deserve it. I deserve to be here. I paid my dues. I mean, we got to really think about the socialization that has happened to us. And I'm raising that because that's what keeps us apart from coming up with something new, Mama Fire, is that we think this works. We just need to work a little harder, work it a little smarter, be a little slicker, and it'll be okay. And it's like, this shit ain't never gonna be okay for our people. It was because of what they did to our people in terms of kidnapping and forced labor that the whole capitalist system even exists. The whole reason they won't let us go, family. Let me just say it plain. The whole reason why they won't get their foot off our necks is because this is where the money comes from. We are still the capital. Still the capital. You know? And so I wanted to put that in there, Natasha Wilson said the Jeffersons. Like, you know, we when we get away from our community that was also constructed, because guess what, family? We didn't construct our communities. Y'all do know that, right? We didn't construct our communities. We didn't make our communities look the way that they look. Somebody else put that together. They segregated us and put us there. Like, that was done. We call it normal and think that's how the shit go, but that was designed and made. It was made to keep us there and keep track of us and keep all of whatever our foolishness was concentrated and contained to a particular area.
I.e. New Orleans East.
New Orleans East, right? New Orleans East is a perfect example of that. But what's the kicker, Mama Fire? The history in New Orleans and the class construct was, in our day, right? What we talking here? 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you living out in the East, you were middle class black. You were upper middle class black. That was the place to be, right? Remember that? People, oh man, you live in the East? Wow. Like that, living in the East was a status symbol. That meant that you were, you know, upwardly mobile. And people, a lot of folk don't remember that now. Some people just weren't alive then, but the East was one time the place to be for middle class blacks.
Yeah.
But Hurricane Katrina changed that whole dynamic, and so
changed the whole dynamic of the whole city.
So black folks with means that left for Hurricane Katrina said, fuck it, I'm not coming back. So that killed a lot of, you know, black middle class. It just stopped happening. So like a lot of them big ass houses in the East that people didn't come back to, they just took them and renovated them and made them rental properties. Those houses were never intended to be rental properties. You know what I'm saying? So you have that whole dynamic, and now the East is like the rental capital. Everybody out there rents. You don't have a whole lot of home ownership. That affects the property value. I mean, there's a lot of different dynamics that go in there, but the middle class black population in New Orleans is so small now, damn near invisible. You got people who are very extreme, the black folks who got a whole lot of money, who, if you don't have a whole lot of money, you don't even know those black folks. And then there are the black folks that ain't got no fucking money. You understand? And you see them all the time. Always in some shit, Bible Fire.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to somebody earlier this week, and she was saying, she said, did you notice, she lives uptown, and she said, did you notice there's all these tourists coming in and out of, you know, uptown New Orleans, and, you know, all it is Airbnb houses and all these things. She said, where are all the people? I said, the people in the East.
In the East, baby.
You know, and then when you drive through the East, and so I'm kind of glad, you know, Franklin Avenue and all of them building them kind of churches and stuff, because maybe they're revitalizing. It look revitalized in neighborhoods and areas, but when you go through, like the Grand isn't there anymore.
Right.
The Plaza isn't
Plaza's
there anymore.
not there.
Listen, that's on purpose.
Definitely.
So people have to actually go to Slidell,
Go to
or they
another
have to
parish.
actually go to St. Bernard Parish, or they got to go somewhere to shop. Where do our people shop?
Yep.
You know, and there's a lot of potential in New Orleans East. You know, and as a people, you know, as far as developing New Orleans East, but of course they got us in a chokehold, not only with, you know, finances, because a lot of New Orleans East is Section 8 and in scatter site, as they call them, and all these different things. And so they got debt and all these things choking us, so that we can't even think about developing our own communities.
Right. Because we don't own those communities. I mean, what would make those communities ours is if we owned them, and so the ownership isn't there. And we know America was built on ownership. That's why they used to own our ass, so they could build something with it. That's always been the whole point. Y'all understand that, right? That whole ownership thing. America is about ownership. It's about stealing. Fuck, it's about stealing some shit. That's the other part about the meritocracy. You steal some shit, you do a whole lot of stuff to get something, and then once you get it, you quote unquote legitimize it to keep other people away from it so that they can't do the same shit. That's been the thing. Now this is historical. This ain't none of our opinion. You can look at it if you understand what you're reading. But that where that plays out for us though, we buy into that same shit too. So you see, we want to exploit people because we think if we exploit our own people, then we can come up, because that's what we watched done for all these centuries. So in 2019 and beyond that, how do we move away from that kind of thinking? Because as long as we're thinking like that, and long as we're bought into that, we're gonna continue to replicate that kind of shit. So it ain't really about talking about, oh man, look at what they doing to us, and look how they fucking over us, and now they trying to do that. And listen, I don't even want to talk about the school shit because we already did that and we dealt with that and that's done. But you got to look at the whole class analysis in that too. Like this comes down to a money thing and a race thing, but that's what America has always been about, race. Y'all understand that, right? Ron Chisholm, co-founder of People's Institute. He wrote Mama Fire on get some paper.
There's some paper right here, babe.
I can use this?
Yeah.
I want to show y'all something, family. This is one of how you know some shit. You think you know some shit? So look what he did. So he wrote this. I don't know if y'all can see this. Can you see it? It might be backwards on Instagram, but what it says is America, okay? America, right? So he said, it's so real in America that when you shuffle the letters, you get I am race. Check that shit out. America is I am race. Now look, folks, that's heavy. That's some heavy shit. I don't know on what subliminal level Mama Fire or not, but that's some really heavy shit. I am race. So we can't have no kind of conversation without dealing with the race part of it. So our position and our place is that ain't going nowhere. So where are we gonna go, Mama Fire? What does it look like energetically for black folks on how we move going forward? And none of this rah, we shall overcome. We ain't talking about going out there and protest.
No, we've seen that doesn't work.
Done it. It's been done.
It doesn't work. It's been done.
It's done what it can do.
It's done what it can do. And I think I've tapped into something that I don't really quite 100% understand. I just know that there are some things that have to flip in my head as far as money is concerned, as far as abundance is concerned. I don't even want to say money no more. Like, listen, white people created that shit.
Right.
Money ain't ours. That ain't
money
for
ain't
us.
real.
It ain't even real.
Money ain't even real.
Right? It's an energy exchange. And if it's an energy exchange, and I know energy, and I know about harvesting what is in the atmosphere, what is in the ether, what is in the universe, and I think once I learn, and listen, if anybody want to teach on it, because I know I'm not the only one to have this understanding, how to tap in to the abundance of in the ether. I do too much good work, Brother Shaq, all the time. There is no reason why I should ever want for anything.
No reason. No reason.
I've already, listen, karma's a motherfucker, and I do get that, but I've already paid my karmic dues in this lifetime.
That's right.
And so now it's time for me to reap what I have sown, and reap the benefits of the work that I do for the reward. There's a reward there in the universe. It's like you give and you receive. You give and you receive. And so I'm in the process of letting money go, or letting that tension go.
Right.
And so I think black people mentally, this is mental health, this is political education, mental wellness for black people. I think we got to really, of course, analyze our relationships with money. Analyze your relationship with money.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with money? Is there retention every single month when you paying them bills? Right. Are you sick of it? Of looking at your check and saying, damn, I took one day off work and now I can't pay a bill.
Fuck, I'm going to do with this.
Yeah. And going to work and hating that shit. And knowing you're not making enough for all that you give. And taking a ride uptown and looking at the houses in the Garden District. The houses that we built. And it's so beautiful and so well maintained. And in our own communities, houses are falling apart.
Yep.
It's time for us to gather what we can from the ether. And I think that's a natural gift of ours. I think that's a natural talent of ours that other people don't have. Other people got to do all kind of other stuff. They got to look in the book and do all kind of spells and all these type of things. We have a natural understanding of this earth and its atmosphere. Right. Because we're indigenous to this planet, but we're indigenous to the universe.
That's right.
So I'm ready. I'm ready to tap into that.
That's right. And many of our people really are doing it, family. We are doing it, but what we're suggesting here, what we're talking about is some individual work, we think, Mama Fi, right? Yeah. Some individual work that must be done. And that might be a departure from some of the, we should do it together. Just in that moment, it just popped up. Our sister says, Donnie Holton says, going forward, we need to move together, build together, plant together, and want to live together. Yes. I work in RX with predominantly Asian and Indian staff, and I've learned that they practice group everything, economics, career building, community building, etc., but we don't. Why? Why is it so hard for us to practice oneness? That was a great, it's a great analysis and a great assessment, sister. I'll say this: there's a really good book by Carter G. Woodson called "The Miseducation of the Negro." It's a book. It's an old book. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, or those of you who are watching, but I would say if you hadn't read that, read that book, and if you have read it, read it again, because it speaks directly to why it's so hard for us to practice oneness. It's a deliberate thing. It isn't a character flaw that we have in our people, but it's part of the socialization on what has happened to us in America that prevents us from being able to do that effectively. And we're the only group. See, we're the only group in America today who have the legacy of being legally enslaved in America. And so the psychological ramifications from that, we are still unpacking. We do a lot of the unpacking of that here on the show. But we were on the plantation for 90 years longer than we've been off it. So that's like a whole nother century. So I also want us to think in terms of where we really are on the whole trajectory, on the continuum of, navigating to free. Yeah. So that we have reasonable expectations. In other words, what I'm saying is intellectually, we can look at these other groups and we can look at the benefit of group economics and say, well, shit, what's so fucking hard about this, man? You put your money together, I put my money together, we got some shit we got. But there's something that happens downstairs emotionally in the heart. As a people who have been dehumanized, we are very, very, very hurt. And we have not recovered from what has happened to us. Our humanity has not been restored. It was taken from us, and it has not been restored. It ain't gonna be restored outside of us. So we have the arduous task of taking back our humanity, first individually, and then being able to move amongst our people with that humanity to remind them of theirs. Now that, Mama Fire, I think I feel rather, and that's similar but different. That is the work of our time, family. Like where we are right now in time, alive on this planet, is the recognition of that, the analysis of that, the working to build a common analysis of that, having a common language around that, and then a consensus about what taking action looks like individually and collectively. I'm saying that there's steps. And I think we're in that phase because that's what's in the air, man. I mean, that's people are, they becoming woke and they waking up and they're becoming conscious, and there are all these kinds of things that are happening because we're coming into something energetically.
Yes, we are.
That
speak it.
This is some bullshit.
Yes, we are.
And this has been some bullshit.
We are connecting beyond who we've always thought we've been. Mm-hmm. Once we understand our proper place on the planet.
Right.
we know that there are gifts out in the abundance of the universe for us.
Right.
And we just have to tap in. And so what I said, the sister said something about oneness.
Yeah.
And listen, oneness, unity, umoja, all these beautiful words for it, has been destroyed by the divide and conquer thing.
Right.
You know, I mean, we are, there's something in us that says our people ain't shit. You know, even for people who are diehard warriors, there's still something that is there somewhere that says we gotta protect ourselves from those people. And we're talking about our own people
all the time.
You know, there's hatred there.
Right.
Because once love abounds, you realize you are protected.
Right.
Once you understand love, you realize you're protected. So communal living. We did a communal living show.
Yeah.
And we need to share that. We need to put that on Facebook because that was actually a really good show. The communal living show says that yes, we can take care of one another. Do we understand that we have people living in really big houses with all kind of rooms and stuff, and they'll be like, nah, I ain't have no black people living in my house. What? And they ain't gonna do nothing but take from me, and they gonna mess over me anyway, and you know, and those things are in your head. But when you realize love, and when you realize love, you realize the abundance of love, and you realize, you know, the abundance in the universe. And I think it's easier said than done, Brother Shaq, because even in communal living, there's tension there too.
Absolutely.
Because we're detoxing all of the stuff that we think is going to happen. We create what happens.
Definitely.
We create that.
Definitely.
And we haven't, when I tell you, once you tap into love, there is no bottom to the well.
Right.
When you give it to yourself first, there is no bottom to the well. It overflows with love and with potential of love. And I really don't think people understand that. It stops short with opening up your doors for people.
Right.
It's like, I can't do that.
Sure.
You know? And it's a give and receive flow.
Right.
Love is a give and receive flow. Meaning you give some things, but you also allow yourself to receive as well, so that there is balance.
Definitely.
You know, there is some sickness. Our people are sick in many ways. So those who are well must teach, for one. And then those who are well must teach by example.
Right.
Teach by example. And offer up these knowledges, because I have to believe that our people are moving, that this is cosmic shift that's happening.
It's happening.
People are coming through, and they want to know how they can help. But it's about detoxing some thoughts,
right.
Detoxing those thoughts in our minds and that say mine, you know. And there's a fear that says somebody's going to come and take it from me.
Right.
It's a scarcity, lack fear. That really all you have to do is switch the in your brain, switch the paradigm that says, you know, I'm entitled. I know that I'm supposed to have all the abundance around me.
Right. That's right.
And more comes the more you give.
Right.
The more it's like a give and receive flow from the universe. But there's a tap in that has to happen. You can't have a poor mentality that says, well, you know, I'm gonna keep giving, and that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a place of power.
And this isn't an intellectual exercise. Shout out to we got something. Shout out to Charlita, Mama Charlita, On Trees Cobalt is joined us.
Ife Maya, what's happening,
what's
Queen?
Happening? Ronika.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't an intellectual exercise, family. And I know, because I'm listening to you talk, and I'm feeling it, and I'm looking at the screen, and I'm looking at, I just see how people just looking like, man, what the fuck is she talking about? Because
that's all right, Mama. I'm on a whole another level.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying, because it sounds like, no, you just gotta love yourself, like it's just some shit you do. But it is really just some shit you do. Like we've been socialized away from our true selves. So we don't think that we can really do anything. And so we are looking for, that's why we're looking for the Savior, right? We're looking for somebody to come in and do something. We're looking for some kind of legislation to be imposed to bring about human rights. Like, we just don't see any power. Yeah, we don't see any power coming from us. I'm gonna tell y'all, I saw the truest shit ever. I'm gonna find it and share it in the thread. Remember, we saw this before we got on. They had a meme of white Jesus. Remember?
No, that was from Outrage, who's watching the show.
And it said, I don't know if she made it or not, but I saw that she shared it. Somebody had it, and it was white Jesus, and he was smiling.
He was doing a Carlton dance.
He was doing the Carlton dance, and he said, "I'm living my best life. I ain't coming back to save you niggas." And I thought that was some funny shit. That was some funny shit, Outrage. We're going to find it and put it in the thread. But don't wait on him, because he really is doing his best. He's living his best life.
Listen, Jesus is in you.
That's right.
There is a Christ energy, this crown energy. Mastery.
Right.
Is in you.
Right there.
It's in you, the ability to create something out of nothing.
Later, Instagram, come on over to Facebook Live. There you go.
And listen, I can get down with you. You want to talk about Jesus? I can get down, because I know you're talking about yourself.
That's right.
At your deepest understanding of yourself, you are the chosen one.
Yep.
That's nothing. Christ means the chosen one. That is you.
That's it. Look, the screen done froze up, family. We don't even know if you can still see it. But white Jesus ain't playing that bullshit now. Hold on. Let's see if we still live.
That's, when powerful stuff like that happens,
it does that
every single time.
We always know that there's something.
Every single time. And you know what?
While that's happening, it's still going. It's still going.
I am definitely changing and transforming, and less afraid of saying these things that I've known for some time.
Right.
I had a relationship with someone who was an agnostic person, and there were so many books and stuff that I read and were exposed to, and it's not that I really believe all of that. I mean, I can't. It's like I create my own belief system.
Because you can. Right?
So I create my own belief system. I take what resonates with me through learning different things, because for one, there's nothing new under the sun. And so this information that's coming to me, to talk on, is stuff people say all the time. It's coming through me, and I'm passionate about it. And so even though I'm not into like the Akashic records and like the old ancient scrolls and these kind of things, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, they're pretty
but
cool.
It's not necessary. I think we have an ancient remembrance of things. Right. And once we remember who we are, man, it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. I'm starting to remember my ancient self.
Now we talking.
Woo, 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 woo. Okay? My ancient self. Please know there is so much more to your ancient self than your past lives. Like,
definitely.
And I mean, I can just share it. I can just share what it is that I feel like I know. But I'm not crazy. I mean, I'm how do you know if you're crazy? By your functioning.
Right. Are you functioning?
Are you able to take care of yourself? Are you able to live, financially and be able to take care of your business? Are you able to, and then so not only am I taking care of myself, I'm taking care of buku people.
Right.
With a heart that can handle it and a heart that knows. And so this is not about Mama Fire's on some kind of bullshit or whatever. This is about the messages that we must know as we're heading into a quote-unquote new year. The messages we must know. There are things that we need to accept about ourselves. Well, let me say this. There are things that we need to reflect on, accept, and then release before before the new year portal closes, you
Right.
know, in our minds.
That's right.
That's enough.
Let it go. Let it go. That's important, Mama Fire, because we gotta give some real practical stuff too.
Yes.
Don't be no jive motherfucker going into 2019. In other words, because some of these motherfuckers, we know we've been doing some jive shit. We know what we doing. Like when the preacher be talking, and these motherfuckers be talking to you, and he's like, "How you know?" It's not that he really knows. When things resonate, you know. So accept that. And that just says that, maybe I haven't been doing all that I should be doing for me. Because we ain't talking about this, like I want everybody to slow down with this idea about we got to all get together and go run up on and do some shit. Stop. We're not ready yet.
Right.
We're just not ready yet.
Get yourself together.
We're not ready yet. Like, it's coming, but...
They want us to get together.
Right.
Get yourself together.
Yeah, get yourself together. And let me say this to everybody, too. We ain't trying to smash down the idea of unity, but we know from investigating it personally and really interrogating it that a lot of this unity that we screaming is because we scared than a motherfucker, man. We don't want to go in alone. We don't want to really confront this shit by ourselves, so we figure if we get enough motherfuckers, then we can go do it. And I'm saying, if you do that, you're still hiding and you can't do your best if you haven't tapped into what your best is. And that's not going to move us forward because we do need you well. We do. We need everybody. Like, that's, for people who are militarily trained, principally one of the reasons why it does what it does is because everybody trains together. Everybody goes through the same training, and a lot of the comfort level and the camaraderie that's developed and built is because people have that shared experience of training and preparation, so that when you have a real life and death situation, you at least know what the other motherfucker know because you was there with them, and they know, and your hope is that you've bonded enough that everybody is clear about surviving whatever this shit is. See, many of us are trying to get with some people who do know and kind of hide behind them and let them go up there and make a fucking way, you understand? Make a way out of no way and hope we can all kind of squeeze on through. And the problem with that is that is exhausting. And it's inconsiderate and it's really coward shit. Let me just say what it is. That's coward shit. And it's not because we bad people, but we don't really think we can do it. So we got to try to find somebody else who bigger, stronger, that know more about whatever. And it's like we're waiting on you. We're waiting on you. Like that's what did Sonny Patterson say with that quote? That nobody's coming, God sent you.
God sent you.
Nobody's coming, God sent you. That applies to you. All you. That's who the fuck it is. It's you. And it's like, hearing that for some folk is like, well, wait a minute. But what about, man? Fuck them. It ain't about them. It's really about you. Because you really can do so much. But a testament to how your humanity has been robbed and stripped from you is the fact that you think you can't. I mean, you really think that you can't. So that because you think you can't, you want to try to get this shit legislated. You want to try to vote in a motherfucker that's going to get your humanity back.
Come on, brother Shaq.
That's what you want to do. And it never happens.
It won't happen.
And then you say, well, we got to hold them accountable because they work for us. It's just a ritual. They're not bad people either. We get co-opted in the shit. We think, well, you know what? If I had this, I could really do that. How about if you start where you're at with what you have and do what you can with you? That's an amazing thing. Mama, if I look, I ain't gonna lie. I be in here working on myself and shit, yeah, a lot. Like, and by the time I finish,
but everybody in here,
sometimes that's
gotta
about
work
all I
on
can
themselves.
do. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a plenty. I can't even be worried about what a motherfucker doing or ain't doing, man. I mean, this, and it's not because I'm lackful. It's just that there's, in terms of personal development and untapped potential, and how my capacity can expand and what more I can do
You can tap in.
I can tap in.
You can tap in totally to what it looks like, you know, and what it is. What it is. And everybody in here, that's part of the blessing you get in this space. There are no TVs.
Right.
There are no TVs in here.
Right.
Like there's nothing in here to distract you from yourself.
Right.
There's all kind of mirrors in here. Like there's good food to eat. There's nothing but water to drink. Nothing but water to drink.
Right.
You know, we create the space. There's musical instruments all around.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're deciding when we're in this space, the space that we can control. We can control this space.
Right.
Think about what it is you can control. You can control yourself, and you can control the spaces that you are in.
Right.
And you know, and we think about, can you really control the space?
You damn right.
So when you know, it's important to set up the environment conducive for healing.
Right. That's right.
We talk about you can't heal in an environment that made you sick.
That's right.
On a micro level, you can create a healing environment in your space.
Definitely.
And really, we gotta unplug from TV, y'all. And that's old. People, you know, television, tell lie to your vision. That's old from like the 90s, you know?
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about our relationship with the news. We have a relationship with CNN and relationship with Fox News and all these different news channels that's constantly telling you what's wrong. And to the point where you're not even looking to see what's wrong in you or what's quote unquote wrong.
Right.
You know? There's not enough space in your brain to think about what work you need to do. You know? And listen, it takes some time, but it doesn't take forever.
No.
That you can turn it around right now in this life. Just make some simple choices and simple steps so that you can unplug, but also tune in. You know, unplug, but tune in. Tune into a higher vibration. When the TV is on, y'all, that lowers the vibration immediately to plug something in to the system of electricity.
Right.
You know, when you're electric,
it's electric.
you are electric.
Like that record.
Then you could eat electric to make your body feel more electric.
See that?
So when you tune in, it's like, ooh.
You, family, if you can feel what we're saying, you know, give some hearts. This isn't an intellectual discussion. Now, here's the thing. When we're talking about feelings are so important because it's the feeling part that makes us human. That's what qualifies you as a human being, your ability to feel. So I want you to think right now in terms of culturally where we've demonstrated that where we are is we're savages. Nigga, I'm a savage. How about this? Oh, you in your fucking feelings. Oh, you in your feelings with that old weak shit. Listen to the messages that we're giving ourselves and other people. I heard people say, well, you know, I was in my feelings that night. I'm just like, we've internalized this. This isn't a criticism of us, but we have to locate where it is. Then we have to locate the origin of what it is. Pull that shit out by the root and just stop it, because these are the things that prevent the rise. These are the things that prevent us from moving into the future as free people, family. Now, the sister said something about us having a competition. What did she say? She said, too many other people are scrolling through other people's feeds and not looking back at their own.
Ooh.
That's a big one right there. Sister say, Sister Donnie says, maybe I'm dreaming, but I think we can, family by family, household by household, but a lot of us have a competition mentalities, and a lot of the parents have to get out at 18, you're grown up mentality.
That's true.
That's totally true.
Competition is white supremacy.
That's what I wanted to say. That's not,
yeah.
We didn't come up with that. That's what we're saying, sister, and everybody watching, for us to really dig into this thing, we have to come with a larger analysis so that we understand that what we're seeing are the manifestations of what has happened to us, not the thing. Meaning The idea of competition, as Mama Fire pointed out, is rooted in racism, white supremacy. That's where the whole scarcity idea and the idea of lack comes from. That isn't ours, that's theirs, and is a projection. So in other words, they have projected lack and scarcity onto us. How did they do that? They did it psychologically. Why did they do that? Because they dominate in this culture, so they dominate the thought in this culture in the same way they dominate the language in this culture. And why do they think lackfully? Because they are less than 9% of the planet's people.
Come on.
They are less than the so-called...
You are not the minority.
You are not a minority. Minority means less than. And mathematically, if you are less than 9% of the planet's people, there's no way you could be a majority. So this is all a psychological thing, so that you, as a person of color who are part of the 91% of the people on the planet who are from abundant places and places where you can always go pick you some fruit, where you can always live, who are very chill and relaxed because you know everything is cool, so that you can take on some of this fucking stress of, oh my God, we're gonna die. Like all these fucking, like, you see these doomsday movies and these doomsday scenarios and all that shit, that ain't got fuck to do with us. We ain't scared that the world is gonna end, because guess what? The world might end, but the earth
still gonna be here.
But the earth keeps on turning. The world and the earth ain't the same shit. That shit ain't got nothing to do with you, black folks. That ain't got a fucking thing to do with us. But we be taking on, so we be scared of everything. Oh no, oh shit, they're coming. Man, fuck them. Look, we've been here through all this shit. What are we worried about? Like, we're going to be here. Even though we might be blind, crippled, and crazy right now, like they used to say, Mama Five. We might have all these fucking problems. We are still here. We still making fucking babies. I mean, we
making babies out the wazoo.
We doing all kind of other shit. Now, the people who call you a minority, they suffered negative population growth in 2013, which means more of them are dying than being born. A lot of those white women are trying to get with black men because they understand they're very competitive and they want to hang around. So they trying to get with some black shit so that they can keep going. I mean, look. That's self-preservation, even though the self changes. So but understand who benefits when we're thinking about or thinking like that. We don't benefit from that. So carrying into 2019, family, what we're saying is tap in. And I would say feel more, Mama Fire. Not feel less, but feel more. Like, because our feeling is an intelligence. I don't know, family. I got some smart people that are on a thread. Had y'all thought about it like that? Or have y'all heard that? Or have y'all considered that? That, like, your feeling, your ability to feel, your senses and sensibilities is a form of intelligence. Like, a high form of intelligence. Your ability for intuition and being able to sense things and premonition. We know black women. What you say? Shaq, you waking up behind me. Ha! That ain't got nothing to do. That ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm doing my thing. What? EQ, that's right. Emotional intelligence. That's real shit. Like, but see, just think about our socialization, how in this culture, emotional intelligence is deliberately not valued. Like, we don't want to even put nothing on the way we feel. As a matter of fact, we'll write it off and go against how we feel, because we've been told that that's not really valuable. So it's been trying to totally intellectualize it, and that is a way of disarming original people, because we think and feel, we use our left and right brains simultaneously in concert. The people who are trying to keep us in this condition don't want us to be able to do that, because it puts us where we're beyond the scope of what they're able to trap. So they're really trying to keep all this shit, as I call it, upstairs. They're trying to make this and keep this an intellectual exercise for their survival. And I don't want to talk a whole lot about them, but they're doing this for their survival. They always have, whether they're doing it intuitively or they're doing it very consciously and deliberately. This is about their survival. We are that sleeping giant. So, but it is more than about resisting them. Fuck them. This ain't about them. This is about us. Like, we don't even have to be worried about that shit. What we can focus, we don't have to worry about anything. We can focus on how do we authentically create from a very real space, like where we at for real, for real. Like the only reason why this love you see right here on the screen is so real, because it's real. That's why it's so good, because it's real. Like we moved away from all of the bullshit and got to the real shit. Like it's really, you can do it. Nobody's gonna teach you that shit in school. It's not encouraged. Fake shit and phony shit is that's what America is. So you can find, what's your line? What's your line, Queen, on that song? Look into your if you want to fly. What do you say?
If you want to fly, open and heal your heart, 'cause that's where your wings are. If you want to fly, open and heal your heart, 'cause that's where your wings are.
Do you hear that? If you want to fly. And the flying is not our fly away like they say when you're dead.
Come on.
But if you want to soar, like be lifted from this lower shit that we just muck that they put on us, just open your heart and heal. Cause see, that's where your wings are. So I'm saying, she said it in a beautiful way in song, but we're saying in a very practical way, open and heal your heart. So now
you're the only one who can open and heal it.
That's it.
You're the only one. There's no one coming to open and heal your heart for you. It is your heart. It is your heart. And so as I was helping with Iyame and Radnika, I was walking in the back and I was thinking, it's about power. Like, there are going to be some people who won't make it. There are going to be some people who fall by the wayside. There are going to be some people who just can't see it, And so this is for the powerful people.
Right.
This is for the people, the black people. This is for black power.
Yeah.
Right? People think black power means having black businesses. And that's one aspect of it. It definitely is. We talking about in your mind.
Right.
In your mind. Power. We are, breaking that idea of power that we understand and breaking it all the way down and saying, what's real power?
Right.
Real power is saying, I will be, I will be
a whole human being.
A whole human being. Yes, I will be a whole human being, but that the future will contain me. That I will be here in the future. I will have descendants here. Right. And they will know, and I will leave a legacy, and they will be protected, and they will. That's a whole power shift, Brother Shaq.
Yeah.
Because people in power can't say that.
No.
People in power can't say that.
Right.
So what's real? What's real power? And so if you have an inkling of power in your heart for your own self, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. Just keep on developing. Keep on digging, keep on working, keep on studying, and keep on remembering who you are.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
The developing piece. Like, y'all hear that? Like, you got to develop, and you can, like you're doing it, but do it deliberately. Like, what we're saying essentially is do this work on yourself. Make yourself fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, work on your fitness in your own capacity. Discover. I ask people all the time, what is your purpose? Like, why are you even here alive on the planet now? What's going to be the difference what's going to be different about this planet that you were here once you're gone? Those aren't really big questions, but they are big questions. They're the kind of questions that if you can't answer it, then you should stop and don't do anything until you can. And I mean that, Mama Fi. If you can't answer what your purpose is, you should go stop. You should go sit down some fucking way.
That's what we should be doing.
And don't move
until
you can clearly say what that is. Because if not, whatever you're doing is likely going to be destructive.
Yes.
Not because you want it to be, but it doesn't have a choice, because you can't for sure make it some good shit because you're not even sure why you're here. So you can't be sure of what you're doing if you don't know why you're here. And that, I know it sounds like a real basic question, but I mean, listen, I'm listening to and talking to grown people on the daily. I'm talking about real grown. I ain't talking about like 21 grown. I'm talking about like 41 grown. I'm even talking about fucking 61 grown. And even older than, man, I ain't never thought about it. When somebody tells you, I've never thought about the purpose that I'm alive at any age, that should give you some pause. You should look at that motherfucker like they got 6 heads. Because you should want to know, well, then what the fuck have you been doing? Not from a judgment standpoint, but just consider, like, imagine, what the fuck are you really doing if you're not clear? And the only person who can be clear and be an expert about why you're here is you. Y'all hear that? That makes sense, right, Mama Fi? Like, that's the only person. Like, that, nobody can tell you what your purpose is. Nobody can do that. You do that. You define that. You determine that. So, and you should be the expert on that. And if you're not, then sit down, quit fucking with people, quit trying to unite, quit trying to pontificate, stop all that goofy shit. Leave all that in 2018. 2019, think about your future self. And
come on.
And the way you think about your future self is, okay, I'm here right now. What does the future look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's not like a, let me smoke this joint. Let me pop this Molly and think about and contemplate.
Uh-oh.
You don't need none of that.
You going there, Brother Shaq.
I got to, because this is not let me get high. This is let me be right where I'm at and grounded. Let me be grounded and then really go inside of here and I gotta stop all the messages and all the shit that people tell me I'm supposed to be and find out who I am. Listen, if you can't do that, that means you can't love yourself. And if you can't love yourself, then that means you can't determine whether or not you're lovable. And if you can't determine that you're lovable, then you trying to get somebody else to love you and you don't even think you're lovable. And then that's not going to work. That's going to be problematic. And then you're going to create some more problems with them.
You are dangerous.
You are dangerous.
If you cannot consider yourself lovable,
right,
you are dangerous.
You damn sure ain't about to be no fucking revolutionary or no woke motherfucker or nobody that's, leading or a black leader or whatever the fuck that is. Like, that shit, all that shit is antiquated and dead, man, because it's inside of a white ideology. Like, we got to remember, we're trying to find our value inside of a system that has put value onto us, that has determined those of us who have come to be called black as a political designation. We did not determine that. We did not determine what black is. Like, just be real. We're not doing Kuja Chagalia for real. We're not doing that. That's not what the fuck we're doing, Kwanzaa or otherwise. I mean, think about what self-determination really means and ask yourself, are you determining who you are, or is the fucking TV determining who you are? Is the advertisements telling you who you are? Is the motherfucker around the corner telling you who you are? Is your mama telling you who you supposed to be? I mean, like, you got to be real with that, because examine it. Like, if you don't, then what the fuck are you really doing? I mean, you're playing around because you're doing that shit and it ain't working, and then you looking around and say, well, I mean, nigga can't get a break. They won't stop fucking with me. Every time I try, it's like, no, man, it ain't got fuck to do with them. You change. If you change, all the other shit will change. The question is, why won't you change? You won't change because you won't look. You won't look because you don't have the confidence that you can confront and do some shit about it. So that the next question is, why don't I know who the fuck I am and what I'm capable of? See how that works? You still got to deal with you. So fuck, if it's going to get back to you anyway, find yourself out.
I love that. We so used to wanting to find people out. We don't trust people. Trust is a big thing. My sisters, my brothers, trust is huge. And really, trust starts with the self, right?
Oh, yeah.
Trust starts with yourself. But we always looking to find somebody out. We in a relationship and we say we in love and we fell in love with his representative and all these type of things. And we so busy trying to see what's the catch.
Right.
What's
too good
the
to
hook?
be true.
Too good to be true. When is the axe gonna fall? And the only person you really can understand is you. The only person you really can understand where things come from and why things happen and, you know, why people responded, why someone responded the way they do. It's only you. Only you have that information. And so once you know who you are and you trust yourself, you'll know I've connected to this person and I feel good about the connection. And you trust yourself and say, this is the way to go.
Right.
Or you trust yourself and say, I really didn't like that A, B, and C. So I'm going to decide not to do this. I'm going to go there. Self-love, self-trust, and self-respect, and self-care and self-preservation, that's all up in there. You know, and it's up to us. It's up to us to make those choices, you know. And so I wrote something down here. Brother Shaq said, you have to have a purpose on the planet. And so not only identifying our purpose at whatever ages that we are, but parents, all the parents that are watching, can we start talking to our children about it when they're little? Even if our children are big now, start asking them, what's your purpose? And grandbabies, if you got grandbabies, you start asking them, why are you here? When you're a child, there's a sense of, there's a power in being a child. You know, the less you are an adult, you know, the less world is on you. The less bullshit of the world is on you. And so they really know they have the answers. If you ask them a question, they'll just answer you. And a lot of the time they be real. It's true what they're saying. You know, I love just sitting around listening to children. You know, that's really one of my expertise. People don't really know is that I connect to children well. I'm a child whisperer in a lot of ways. Like I can speak their language, quote unquote, you know, whatever that is. And I feel blessed to be able to do that. But I've studied them a long time, you know? Right. And that'll make you a quote unquote expert. And the truth of the matter is, the only person you can really be an expert is you. Yeah. And so that movement of becoming an expert on yourself and understanding yourself fully and completely. Find yourself. Now you back. I missed you.
Listen, I apologize, family, if I offended anybody with my profanity. It's never intended to offend. This ain't my shit. Like, I didn't even make this shit up. Somebody else made this bullshit language that doesn't fully allow me to express what's inside of me. And so that's the best words that I got. Like, if you know, and I don't curse because I don't know other words. If you've ever spent any time with me, I've put a lot of time and I have a pretty good command of this bullshit, fucked up ass, angled ass language. I got all kind of words, but the words that really have the right vibration on what I've internalized in America, I'm throwing this shit up. It's coming out. Like, this is, James Baldwin, he had that quote, Mama, if I remember, like he said, to be a Negro in America and not being a rage is to be totally unconscious. These things I feel because I do have a sense of what has happened to our people and what continues to happen to our people. And there is anger there, but the anger isn't for my people or towards my people. It's more of a frustration. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how you can really be in this thing for real and not be frustrated, by all kinds of things that are so complex that you don't necessarily have a name for them. That's what I'm saying. If I had, and maybe in 2019, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to definitely do a talking diet. But in addition to that talking diet, I may even attempt to learn a new language or some new languages that better encompass my experience, my human experience. Because, like I said, English is just not sophisticated enough to be able to convey all that I know I can think and feel. And I know that's the case for my people, too. That shit is weak.
Well, I wanted to, hold on one second. You know what I like? I like, Outrage said, we're still modeling our lives by sitcoms and entertainers, heroes and sheroes. We must face our conditioning and debunk the fantasies that stand in the way of loving our spiritual selves.
Right on. Now, see, she's saying a whole lot with the spiritual self. Thank you for that outrage. I like that. And she said, "Fuck English, huh, Shaq?" Good. And thank y'all for that. Because those of y'all who know me, I mean, some people will watch this and say, "Hey, that motherfucker, he just cussed. Every other word he said, shit, goddamn." Well, guess who taught me? The motherfucking white man taught me that shit. Huh? How about that? The motherfucker that enslaved my people taught me this fucked up ass language. So all I'm doing is I ain't no better than what I've been taught. You know what I'm saying? Shit. But in all seriousness, family, I think I'm gonna learn something else, another language, and start maybe talking in that, and just see how that goes. So y'all be patient with me because I guess they say the Lord isn't through with me. If he know like I know, he better not fuck with me. You understand? Because I got 400 years of some pent up shit that if we gotta have that meeting, I got some shit we need to hammer out. You understand?
Yeah.
But yeah, family. The deserving question is where we started this. In terms of how we decide or determine what people deserve and what they don't deserve. And that's a real tough one because, like Mama Fire said, and I totally concur, when you're doing well and you're doing your absolute level best from your heart, you're doing the heart work, right? It would seem that you should have a good, a quote unquote good life. You would think that goes together, and that maybe somebody who is doing evil or injustice or hurting people or messing over people should get dirt, And Mama Fire, you talked about that karma earlier. And look, fam, I'm gonna tell you. See, Brother Shaq, man, listen. I do good. I mean, I do plenty good. I do the kind of good that you all don't know about. I never talk about. I do good shit that Mama Fire don't even know because it just happens, and I do plenty of it, and I have for a long time. But there have also been times in my life where I've done some really, really foul shit that I'm definitely not proud of, and that happened. That really did happen, and I don't know. I would like to think I've paid my debt, and I'd also like to think that it's up to me to be able to assess what the balance is on that.
Yeah, it is all up to you.
And I will say, yeah. And so that being the case, what I'm putting out and have been putting out and putting out strong and trying to make up for lost time is good. And I understand that inevitably good continues to be on its way because ain't nothing bad over here. Like, I ain't gonna even lie to y'all and say, oh, it's so bad. That's not true. It can't be bad because you know what? I do is good. My grandma would say, "Rise in power to her too." Yesterday she'd have been 94, family.
Oh, rise in power, queen.
Dorothy Love, rise in power. Mm-hmm. My oldest daughter texted me. She said, "I had a dream about Mama Nell and Granny last night." And I just sent it back to her. I said, "Of course you did. They're working on some things for us." Yesterday was Granny's birthday at 94. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah. And my fine 9 and 4 is 13, right?
Mm-hmm. Powerful number.
But 1 and 3 is what? 4, which is your life path number.
Yeah.
I picked up on all that. I've been checking all that out.
And even 13 itself is a very divine number, which is 4. But I thank you.
See, I be checking all that out.
You too.
I be cursing and shit, but I be checking out some shit too. Right?
Everybody knows you're a brilliant black man. Everybody knows that. And listen, I'm not trying to censor anything that you say.
Thank you.
Anything that you want to say. It's bad enough that we're constricted on, and we're thankful for WBOK, but it's bad enough we're constricted to an hour. Right. And there's only certain things that we can say. And there's only certain things that we can say, period, though,
True.
Where in this medium.
Right.
And please know there's so much more that we do not say.
Oh.
This is not the end all be all, but we're doing it. If you want to know what it is that we really believe, we do that.
We do that.
We do what we really believe.
Right. Yeah. We're not radio personalities or internet celebrities. I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I just have this as my own personal thing. See, these internet fucking, I don't know what to call them, idiots. Stop. Just stop. Right? Like family. And I want to get that off my chest, Mama Fire. Because
What you got on your chest, King?
well, let me say this. For a long time, this whole internet fanatical shit, I don't know what you call it, has been bothersome. And I mean bothersome like in a pestering kind of way. But what we have, what the internet has allowed to happen, because family, everybody knows, like, you know how motherfuckers, I'm sorry, you know how like in school,
You're not sorry.
I'm definitely not sorry, but you know how in school there were folk who were outliers. They weren't the in crowd. They weren't whatever the case is. Well, those kinds of relationship dynamics, social kind of dynamics still exist, and they always have existed. And I guess as long as people are people, there will always be those kinds of different dynamics that happen. But, you know, it's still going on. But on the internet, though, people can hide behind whatever kind of personas they make up and, you know, get some traction from some of that. And I think, and they start believing that shit. And they just act crazy, man. Stop. Just stop doing that shit. You know, that's not necessary. Be whoever the hell you are. Just be authentically you, whether you're on social media or not on social media. Because that shit make people crazy, man.
What you mean, social media?
Well, no, social media doesn't. It just kind of reveals the crazy.
No, it does make people crazy.
Yeah,
no.
Okay.
Because if we had the wrong attitude about it, if we really, really think it's real, it will make you crazy. Because what I do see that there are some disorders that are coming up
New shit.
because of social media. You know, people who really like compare themselves to what people are doing on Instagram. I see that way too much in these young people who are just like, well, that's happening. And it be real like tension in them and like sadness and like, you know, anxiety about what other people are doing on social media. We need to know that if you cannot reach out and touch people, that's virtual. That
right.
You know, even though it's a representation of what's going on for real, this is real.
Right.
Eye contact, human contact is real. And we have to keep that in our minds, and we also have to teach that to our children because they're actually growing up with this medium from little. Like, you know, when I hear young people tell stories, they'll be like, you know, yeah, you know, my mom called, you know, the cell phone or whatever. And when my mom called anything, she called the regular phone. You know what I'm saying? So it goes to show that these children are really, really growing up in this. And we got to help them differentiate between what's real and what's virtual.
Right.
So there is some crazy stuff going on social media. And use social media to represent your business. Use social media to represent, you know, and connect you to friends and family. That's what people do it for. But I don't know if we should be using it to
fantasize.
Hurt people. Yeah. You know, for sure. Like, we definitely, you know, just shouldn't use, you know. I mean, I can't tell people what to use it for, but...
Well, just, you could be cool. I mean, it is a disorder, I think, when you have a persona. Because it's like, what the fuck is that? Like, just be whoever you are. That's an indicator that you think something's wrong with you, that you're not even comfortable being exactly who you are. Like, be whoever you really are. But see, it goes back to my other question. Maybe you don't know. And if you don't know, that's dangerous, because then you're just trying to do whatever's hot or trying to
you don't know, find out.
Yeah, find yourself out. Because listen, that's what I'm saying. For those of us particularly, like, you're talking about young people, but they got some older people too. Like, we were alive before, like a lot of folk that's watching right now were alive before the internet. Like, there was a time before the internet that what we're doing right now is some shit that we saw on like the Jeffersons. You remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's think about that for a minute. This was some shit we saw in the fucking Jeffersons, man. Like,
it's true.
Like that. This was, we didn't really think we'd ever be doing no shit like that. So that just goes to show you about how real futurism and Afrofuturism is. That if we can kind of imagine it right now, we can imagine our way to a completely different reality.
Yes, we can.
Like,
yes, we can. We can create it. If you can visualize it, you can create it. And that's why these young people don't have no imagination.
Right.
Because they realize, man, that's the key right there.
They don't have it because it's been taken. It's been stripped.
Yeah, it's been taken. Taken and it hasn't, and it's also been calcified. Like our pineal gland, it's been calcified. And so you can decalcify that shit.
All right, so we're going to have a show on decalcifying your pineal gland. We're going to talk more about like pineal glands and chakras and metaphysics. How y'all feel about that, family? Give us some hearts or some thumbs up or something if you're interested in us really dealing more with metaphysics. What are the other things? Like I said, chakras, ancient teachings, like you mentioned, like Dead Sea Scrolls and all that, Akashic records.
I want to do all that. It's not, none of that to me is necessary.
I mean, I'm just saying if that's what they're into. I'm not saying that we're gonna do it, but we're trying to take the pulse because see that'd be some of the challenges too. Sometimes we'd be talking about some shit and we'd be like, y'all be like, we lose.
Yeah, I don't want to.
We don't want to lose nobody.
I want to stay right where it's needed. A lot of the time we're doing repetition, but repetition is programming. Like repetition is downloading. And so when we talk about similar things, it's because we need to hear it.
Right.
We need to remember certain things. It needs to be said over and over and over and over and over and over again. So I mean, I'm gonna drop them as they come to spirit.
Right. I'm
gonna drop them as they come.
Well, Natasha Wilson said Jane, his wife. So obviously, they want to talk about the
Jetsons.
The Jetsons. What was right before the Jetsons? It was the Flintstones. Y'all notice how they go back?
Yeah, they place themselves into the past as well into the future, and there was no black people on those shows.
Did y'all notice
there
that?
were no black people on those shows. That's why we have to create it for ourselves.
That's right.
If you know anybody doing media, anybody doing film, anybody writing books, anybody doing anything like that, place ourselves into the future because we need to see it and we need to know that it's a possibility. We need to know that it's gotta happen.
Right.
We are the most resilient, most strong people on the planet. We're going to be here. And so they did that. They knew about futurism. They knew about placing themselves and really, and so we also need to do that.
Because we're going to be here.
Create science fiction movies where there's black people in it.
Y'all listen to that? We're going to be here. And not black people getting fucked over and hurt. Like black people.
And not black slaves either.
Not enslaved black folks, but black people with all these powers. You want to mention something about that? You just saw something?
What I see?
The Spider-Man thing with the animation?
Yeah. Spider-Man was good. I think that if you're into media at all, which I am, I'm a producer of creative arts and media.
That's right.
And they're always on purpose. It's always got a message and it always got a mission. And so it was nice to see a black superhero Spider-Man. We're not huge fans of Spider-Man or anything like that, but I'm drawn to that kind of stuff when it comes out. And it was good to analyze it and also decode it, especially with my son. And the young man was 13 years old in the movie, like my son. And it was good to see him tussle with his power. Tussle with his power. And to me, it was an allegory for the black man, period. Black man or black people, period, is an allegory that we tussling right now. We tussling. We have these things and we don't know how to use them. And part of the answer was relax. Relax. Tap in, relax, and let it flow. Wow, and so tap in or tune in. Either way, we have the ability to do that and connect to the energy. And whenever I write energy, I write INNER-G. We're talking about energy. We're talking about the inner God or God in us, the God that connects us to the larger whole.
The oneness.
Allah,
Yes.
you know, the Jah, whatever you want to call the source.
Right.
The energy connects us to that. And so it's just a remembering is all. But anyway, go see the Spider-Verse, you know, take some young people
Yep.
and go see it. Or put it on a fire stick or whatever you got to do, but it's a good watch.
Well, when you said relax just now, I felt that.
Yeah, it's time for you to relax.
I know. That's live. See that? I like that. See how that, look at the power, family. The woman said relax, and she was talking to y'all, but I felt it in my spirit. See that? This is what, we're going to do a show soon on the power of the divine feminine. Can we do that show?
The power of divine feminine?
Yeah.
Sure.
I would really like that show to happen, family. Would y'all like to have a show about the power of the divine feminine? Because I think we need some explanation. I think we need some acknowledgement. I think we need some understanding. We need less hate and more understanding. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Power of divine feminine. Next up, because next Tuesday is what they call Christmas.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. See, look, I didn't even know. So next Tuesday is Christmas.
Yeah.
So, okay, family. So for those of you who will have time Christmas to we're going to do True Love Movement Tuesday on Christmas, I think, right? Because we go.
Yeah, we're going to be at the house.
We chilling. So, and we know that, all right, so we're going to do it. And we're going to do it on, yeah, that's perfect because we're talking about there'll be birthing and the birth of Christ, and we can get into the Christ and where Christ is, and oh yeah, man, and then we can connect that because that we know where God is. Yeah. All right, family. So, what you think about? See, you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, God is in the mirror.
Definitely.
The connection to God is in the mirror, and then if you want to know God, just go outside and look around.
That's it.
No, right. I don't. You know, I'm not a big subscriber of the black woman is God.
Well, I wasn't saying the black woman was God.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying.
I didn't say
that. I thought that you was kind of saying.
Y'all didn't hear me say that. I was just saying in terms of.
Well, we know who God is.
We sure do know. Yeah, I mean even the whole God concept explained, but it's we know that it's almost impossible to have a conversation about the divine feminine and not include production and reproduction.
Yeah.
In that, in bringing forth life and the creation of life, that's all part of that conversation. So we're going to find our way to God in the conversation anyway. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I found real people talk about a personal relationship with God. You know, and the only way to me, I've found, you know, is through yourself.
Right. It's got to be real.
You know, through self. It's understanding, you know, and when you know God, you definitely are thankful for life.
Yes.
You're thankful for this life. Even though it's struggle and it's hard, I wouldn't want to be anything else than a quote-unquote black woman.
Well,
you know.
I'm thankful for you. Give me the cheek. I want the lips.
All right, yes,
now. Right on. So
we gotta go.
We got things to do. The lady told me to relax. Look and go. That's what I'm talking about right there. So I had to watch it on the screen one more time myself. So, all right, family. So, find yourself out. Really, I think that's what we.
Well, we was kind of like all over the place today.
Not really. We was right here.
Yeah.
I think just because we want to tie it up and say, well, what did we do? The find yourself out, which is yours, completely yours. I want to be clear. That's Mama Fire's concept. Is a personal challenge. If there's an internet challenge out there going on right now, maybe we can do the find yourself out challenge.
Ooh.
Because I will say this, family, and this is so real. I would say this whether she was here or not, because you know I don't be bullshitting anyway. But like it has really been live. The whole finding myself out thing for me personally.
Good.
Man, it has really been live because I'm able to like look at myself and where I'm played out at and antiquated and be like, man, leave that shit alone. Like that shit ain't even, like what is that? And for me personally, a lot of times it'd be my ego. A lot of these be conditioned responses. A lot of it just be rooted in nothing, just but bullshit. And so actually finding myself out is like, but how do you really feel about it? And just sitting with that and understanding like when it's, what it is. And that takes a little bit of time. That takes a little bit of time, family. That's what we're saying. Find yourself out means that you may not post as much on social media because you just may be sitting there contemplating, why am I alive? Put it down in your journal. We talked about document. Like we've been really teaching hard for a long time and repeating a lot of the lessons and moving it around a little bit. But if you'll do the things that we're suggesting, you will find your humanity.
Yes, you will.
You will locate your humanity. And once you do, it's going to change the way that you experience this life on this planet. That I can assure you. You find yourself out. You find your humanity. You will have so much love and appreciation for yourself and for your people because you will be able to see what we have experienced and what we have endured and the honor, the admiration, the pride that goes along with being so-called black or being indigenous or being original. It'll I don't know, it'll push you through. You know what I'm saying? Like Mama Fi said, I wouldn't want to be nothing else. Mm-mm. Like you were beautifully and wonderfully made, family. And that ain't a pep talk. Once you locate that, it'll change everything you do. Everything. And so Mama Fi told me to relax. The sister said, Donnie said that this is her third viewing. Thank you. We appreciate that. We have a YouTube channel too, family, that we've had it for a while, but we're developing it. This show will be uploaded to it probably tomorrow. A lot of folk ain't doing Facebook no more. I don't really post a whole lot no more, Mama Five. And I don't, so sometimes I posted some shit and I don't mean to be controversial, but people be arguing and shit. And that ain't what I do. Not with me, but I'm saying with other people. But what I'm thinking, family, is what I think, Mama Five said some really positive things about me and my mind. What I think and what I feel comes out a lot in these shows, and it's recorded. And so we put them on the YouTube and we put them there so that you could go check it out and see. Like I might not post a status about it, but I assure you, if you want to know where we coming from, we got lots of videos that will tell you.
Yeah, we're gonna start putting up past shows because they come as memories.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna start putting those past ones up, and there are certain ones that I'd like to put up as teaching videos, like the give and receive flow, the toolbox, the toolkit show. I think these are shows that we had so long ago that we didn't put on YouTube, but I think we should.
I think we should too.
Yeah, and we could use them and say, check out the show and put the link in the.
And we need your help. We need your help with that too, family, because see what we're understanding about the internet and that kind of thing is, when someone sees a show that's only had like 5 views or 8 views, because it might have 5 or 8 views on YouTube and maybe 300 or 400 on Facebook.
Yeah.
But when somebody sees that who's not familiar, they think, oh, that ain't shit. Ain't nobody watching that bullshit, because it's 6 people.
Yeah.
And don't let them miss a jewel. Like if you think this is good, if you enjoy True Love Movement Hour, True Love Movement Tuesdays, if you've done work with True Love Movement, if you've been a part of any of the things that we do, which is a whole lot of different kinds of things, then one way you can do is help us use social media in a way that gets the word out. We got right now, we got 6 to 10 folks on the thing. We think we could have maybe 600, 6,000 in terms of, what we're saying.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I think we should open the floodgates and the gateway to that too, because it's like, what's the point? We have a message, and for the masses of our people,
right?
For the masses of our people, couldn't the masses of our people use this information? Right. And I don't know. It seems like the wave to me.
Definitely. So we want to shout out the folks that are still here with us: Tracy Elizabeth, Outrage, We got Natasha Wilson, Shantice Denise.
My sisters.
Charlita.
Where my brothers at? Come on, y'all get my brothers too involved, like, because I mean, and my sisters be holding it up.
They sure do. We thank God for the black woman. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say, Mama Fire. I mean, our brothers are busy. Brothers are trying to work. Brothers are trying to do what they need to do. We got Brian Bowman. He's there.
Come on.
You know, Brian is, shout out to that brother. He's got both books.
Yes, he does.
He's
very supportive of True Love Movement, and everybody who's in the audience is.
There are folks who get it, and we think it's gettable, but we also know that you folks know folks, so we're going to ask you to put that out there. We are called to hold a space. Well, let's hold a space and open it up, Mama. You see
I'm tired, Brother Shaq.
Well, I got to go.
I can't handle it. I can't handle no more.
I got to put you to bed.
I have had 2 late nights, and you know I need to sleep.
Well, look here. I'm about to find you out. About to find Mama Fire out. The next show, we're going to have to cut it off now. Good God. All right, family. So, thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining with us. Share the show with people you respect. Look at the YouTube channel. Find yourself out. Stay tuned for the Divine Feminine on Christmas Day. And, Wholeness, right? We see you Saturday for the True Love Movement Hour with no cursing, okay? No cursing. Wholeness. All right. I got to go over here and cut it off.
Mm-hmm. Y'all sleep well tonight. I love y'all, family.
Ow!